All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to start off by giving all praises unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. Now, the name of this video is going to be Let Every Soul Be Subject Unto the Higher Powers. Okay, so there is a big misconception going around. And even, big cats like, and when I say big cats, I mean, the top dogs. Inside joke there. The top dogs, all right, of the Israelite community, man. Okay, and I'm specifically referring to GMS. Okay, now I want to make this clear. Just because I am going to be coming against GMS in this video, this is not directed as hate towards the group. I have much love and respect for the elders and the apostles of GMS Great Millstone. Even the scriptures say, open rebuke is better than secret love. Okay, the scriptures say that. So this is an act of love, man. All right, coming and proving you wrong in the scriptures. Okay, because what these guys are saying is that Romans the 13th chapter is saying to obey the government. Okay, now I'm going to read this chapter, and the scriptures say, Isaiah chapter 28 verse 10, for precept must be upon precept, here a little and there a little, to get the knowledge and the understanding of the scriptures. Okay, so I'm going to prove without a shadow of a doubt that Romans the 13th chapter is not talking about obeying the unrighteous, but is in fact talking about spiritual leaders. For example, I could be a higher power. You could be a higher power. Elder Dahar is a higher power. You Christians at your church, your pastor is the higher power. My boss is the higher power. Okay? You just got to deal with the context of what the scripture is saying, man. Okay? It's not as simple. Well, I read it, so, it looks like it appears as it says that, so I'm going to go along with it. Well, okay then. Well, if that's the case, well, then who can say that John 3:16 is not talking about the whole world? Well, but it says the word world there, so it has to be talking about the whole world. Right? So these guys are acting simple. Romans 13 says the higher power. See, everyone obey the government. No, you're a goddamn fool. All right? You have to go precept upon precept, man. All right? Just how we go precept upon precept to prove that John 3:16 is not talking about the whole world. Okay? What is it? John 17:9. For I pray for them that thou hast given me out of the world. Isaiah 45:7. Or not Isaiah 45:7, Isaiah 45:17. I pray for them that thou hast given me out of the world, but I pray not for the world. Okay? And the scriptures also say Israel, I believe this actually was, I got this scripture wrong, it was actually, Isaiah 45:17, for Israel shall become an everlasting world. Okay? So, another thing as well, okay? A lot of guys act all simple, man. What they do a lot of times is they go online and look up the definitions of what some words mean. Now, a lot of times this is helpful. However, it is not always the case when you're dealing with the scriptures. You cannot always go on Wikipedia and look up a word and say, see, well, it says this, so I'm going to go with that definition. For example, the Lord said he came for the lost sheep of the house of Israel. Now, if you go online on Wikipedia and look up the word sheep, the word sheep means a sheep, an animal. So if you're going to act simple-minded and go by whatever the white man says, when you have to say the Lord literally came for the lost sheep, as in an actual animal of Israel, even though he is actually referring to human beings, okay? But if you're going to act simple-minded and go by what this man says the definition of the word is, well then by default you have to say the Lord came for animals, not human beings, which he clearly referred to human beings. Okay, so Romans chapter 13, which we're going to get now, okay, I'm going to prove that this is not talking about obeying the unrighteous, okay? This is talking about obeying the righteous, man, okay? This is talking about when for example, in ancient Israel, all right, you could say that these higher powers were referring to the government body, okay? Okay, now I'm going to read this and then we're going to go and break it down, okay? Let's see. Romans chapter 13, verse 1. Let every soul be subject unto the higher powers, for there is no power but of Yahweh. The powers that be are ordained of Yahweh. Whosoever therefore resists the power, resist also the ordinance of Yahweh. And they that resist shall receive to themselves damnation. For rulers are not a terror to good works, but to the evil. Wilt thou then be afraid of the power? Wilt thou then not be afraid of the power? Do that which is good, and thou shalt have praise of the same. For he is the minister of God to thee for good. But if thou shalt do that which is evil, be afraid, for he bears not the sword in vain. For he is the minister of Yahweh, a revenger to execute wrath upon him that does evil. Therefore you must be needs subject, not only for wrath, but for also consonant's sake. For this cause ye pay ye tribute also, for they are God's ministers, intent continually upon this very thing. Render therefore render therefore to all their dues. Tribute to whom tribute is due, custom to whom custom, fear to whom fear, honor to honor. Owe to no man anything, but to love one another, for he that loves another hath fulfilled the law. Now, if you read that, just like how Christians do that, read it and they don't really stop and go through and say, well, this is talking about that, let's talk about this. You know, I could see how somebody would say, yeah, obey your government. I beg to differ. For one, if that's the case, then you have to take the mark of the beast. Okay, this is a cut to you GMS fools out there, man. For you clowns in GMS, if you're going to tell me that Romans 13 is talking about obeying the government, and I'm calling you out, Gabar. I remember 4 months ago, you did a video response to my comment. Okay? Well, I totally slaughtered you, man. Okay? You got spiritually sliced and diced in the scriptures, man. Okay? You got spiritually slaughtered, man. Okay? And you cut yourself, brother. Alright, you totally cut yourself, man. Okay? I asked you, let's see if I can remember the question because it's so long ago. I asked him a question. One of the questions I asked is if Romans 13 is talking about obeying the unrighteous, whether it's good or wicked, whatever they say you have to obey, then you have to take the mark of the beast. And he really couldn't disprove that. He could not disprove it. His only argument says, well, it's not talking about that. He really isn't, I respect the man because he is a great teacher. However, scriptures say there is no respect to persons in judgment. So Gabar, you are on this topic, you are completely incorrect, brother. All right, you are an antichrist on this topic, and I'm gonna call your ass out on that, man, because you're going to hell off, man. And I'll tell you that because it's true. That's what the scriptures say. Now, I want you to notice that it says this power is a rewarder to those who do good, but is a terror to those who do evil. Now, if you look at this government, if you look at the United States government, how can you tell me this is a minister of good? First of all, if you go out and marry another woman, they're going to condemn you for that. If you go out and marry someone who's under a magic number, they're going to condemn you for that. If you go out and put a faggot to death, they're going to kill you for that. And all of those things that I mentioned, the Lord says you can do that. So if this is the minister of God, then why the hell is this man, if this is the minister of God, then why the hell is he imprisoning you and killing you for doing things that the Most High says to do? You see how goddamn foolish you guys are, man? See how foolish you Edomites are, man? I am not referencing GMS there, man, with you Edomites. All right, you Edomites out there, and I've seen the Bible breakdowns, man. Almost all the people say this is talking about the government. There's only 2 people I ever seen who said it's not. Okay, and they also use this to say, well, we got to obey the law of the land. Now, I beg to differ, because if that's the case, then you have to take the mark of the beast. Okay? Now, I asked a brother, I asked Gabar, I asked him a question. I asked him that, because there's also another verse that says, I believe it's, the book of Peter, chapter 2 and verse 13, therefore obey all the laws of man. Now, I would argue and say that that verse is actually talking about when the righteous are bearing rule. Now, my argument would still stay firm, because if it literally means obeying anything this wicked man says, then you have to take the mark of the beast. And there is no way that you can argue that. You can't do it without being a hypocrite or contradicting yourself. If the Bible says you have to obey whatever this man says, then you have to take the mark of the beast. There is no way you can argue that. There's not one verse you can give to me that says, well, you don't have to take the mark of the beast. Okay? You have to obey anything else this devil says, but the mark of the beast, you don't have to take that. No, you fools are going off, man. And I'm calling you out on that, man. You GMS guys ain't got this, man. All right? You just got spiritually cut, man. Okay? This higher power, for example, this higher power, I could be a higher power. Gabar is a higher power. Tahar is a higher power. Guerrilla Hebrew is a higher power. You Christians, your pastor, he's a higher power. All right? You should be subject to him. Give him tribute. Okay? What is tribute? And that's another thing, man. Tribute, for example, when you read, I believe it's in Matthew's, I'm not going to get it for this video, I'm going to do a whole separate lesson on it, that the Lord did not say to pay your taxes. That is an incorrect breakdown. Okay? Because for one, if that's the case, well, income tax is against the scriptures, because the scriptures tell you in Leviticus 19:13, thou shalt not defraud a man of his wages. So wait a second. If you got to pay your taxes, but the Lord said, death to them who steal money from a man. Okay? That's a sin to steal money from a man. But is not taxation theft? Yeah, it is. Taxation is stealing a man's money. And the Lord clearly says, you shall not do this. Oh, but again, it's the law, so we have to obey. You know, you guys are goddamn fools, man. All right? And I'm clearly proving my argument just by common sense. Okay, we're going to get the scriptures, man. Okay, I even have already gotten the scriptures. I clearly shown you where it says this is God's minister. Okay? Now again, what is the definition of the word minister? The word minister means the preachers of the Most High. So this higher power is talking about us. Okay? We are the higher powers. Okay, that's not talking about the government, man. Okay, that's not talking about the government. You're completely incorrect on that. Okay? Now I asked Elder Apostle Gabar, I asked him a question. If the scriptures say to obey all the laws of man, but at the same time the scriptures say that we are to obey the Most High rather than men, right? Then why are you not putting faggots to death? Leviticus 20:13, thou shalt kill a homosexual. Literally paraphrasing the scripture. It shall be done. It doesn't say, well, if the politicians make a law that says let them live, let them live. No, the Lord says, thou shalt do this. Why are you not following it then? You guys are showing that you guys are not as deep in the scriptures as you say you are, man. Now again, I know that, obviously, for example, I'm not going to go out and kill no one. All right? If I do that, the Lord would be pleased with that. However, if I do that, I'm going to go to jail. Okay, now that's their argument too. Well, we're not going to do that because we'll let everyone be subject to the higher powers. Well, still though, brother, you're in pure violation of the scriptures. Because if this higher power is talking about the government, well, the government would be enforcing Leviticus 20:13. Guess what? He's not though. If you go out and actually practice what the Lord said to do, they'll kill you for it, man. Or lock you in a prison cell. Say, how in all goddamn hell could you tell me that's talk about the government, man? You're a fool, man. You're unlearned, brother. You're not on a level with the scriptures. Or at least on this particular topic, man. And I'll tell you that, man. I'm going to call your ass out on that. All right? And my argument still stands, man. And I'm going to get the scriptures. All right? Another thing as well. The higher power could be talking about our bosses. And how are they a higher power? Because they hired us to do a job. So they are the master over us while we're at their job, man. They tell us what to do, we obey. Okay? It's that simple. Okay? That's what the higher powers are referring to. That's not talking about the government. Fool. Alright? And if that's the case, then you have to take the 666 mark. And there is no, well, it ain't talking about that. No, you're just being simple. Okay? Because you don't know how to answer such a question. So you're just trying to dance around. Like LUIC does, man. They try to dance around certain topics in the scriptures. Like Deuteronomy, the 22nd chapter. Right? That ain't talking about what GMS says it is. And, they'll provide no evidence. They'll just, throw out their personal opinion. All right? Now, I quoted this scripture earlier, but I'm going to just read it. Okay? Because, again, is taxation theft? The answer is yes. Okay? Income tax is theft. Stealing money out of a man's paycheck. That's evil. That's wicked. And the Lord said, you shall not do this. Leviticus chapter 19 and verse 13. Listen here. Thou shalt not defraud thy neighbor, neither rob him. The wages of him that is hired should not abide with thee all night until the morning. Right, thou shalt not defraud your neighbor. Now hold on a second. I thought according to America, all men are equal. Right? So, Christians teach, well, we're all brothers and sisters, right? Because we all come of Adam and Eve. That's their breakdown. So, according to America, if we're all human beings, right, we're all equal. If that's the case, well, the scriptures say, thou shalt not defraud thy neighbor. Is not taxation defrauding somebody? Okay, I'm going to hire you for $10 an hour, but guess what? I'm going to take 20% of your wage. Is that not wicked? That is wickedness. That's unrighteousness. That's evil, and the Lord is against that. So God is against income tax. So therefore, the higher power, off of that fact alone, cannot be talking about the government, as this government is in violation of every law in the Bible. So how in all goddamn hell can you tell me that the minister of God is somebody who does not uplift the laws of the Bible? Yet the Romans 13 says, whoever this minister is, he uplifts these laws and condemns those who disobey them. You cannot tell me that's talking about this government. You are a fool and a hypocrite. Okay? And that's directed to you guys at GMS, man. All right? You guys are going way the hell off, man. You're just a bunch of damn parents, man. All right? Whatever your camp leader tells you, you're going to repeat it, man. And why is that? Because you guys really don't know what you're talking about, man. Bunch of man pleasers, man. That's all you goddamn are, man. All right? Let's see. Isaiah 28, precept and precept. Precept upon precept is how you read the scriptures. Okay? Now there's another scripture I want to get. As I said, man, these guys, even GMS, are in violation of the scriptures. All right? But, hey, you ain't ever going to hear that from them, though, man, because they think they know everything. You're going to learn very soon, man, that you don't know as much as you say you do, man. All right? You're going to learn that, man. All right? Anyway. And again, I'm not on as high as a level as these elders and apostles, and I'll admit that. I absolutely will be humble and say that I do have respect for these great men, the elders of GMS Great Millstone. All right? They are worthy of double honors. However, they are incorrect on some of their breakdowns. And it's just a fact. I mean, if you disagree with what I'm showing you, then, I don't know what to tell you. How could you tell me that I'm not going precept upon precept right here? As the scriptures say, may also add. Colossians chapter 4 and verse 1. Masters, listen here. Precept upon precept, listen to this. Masters, give unto your servants that which is just and equal, knowing that ye also have a master in heaven. Let's read that again. Colossians 4 and 1. Masters, give unto your servants things, or Slakia, give unto your servants that which is just and equal. Give unto your servants that which is just and equal. Is this man given to his servants that which is just and equal? Okay, well, you're going to work 200 hours for me, or, 70 hours a week for me. And I'm going to give you, I'll give you 160 because I'm going to take a decent amount of your paycheck. That's wickedness, man. That's absolute wickedness. All right? So, no, God is not with obeying the unrighteous. Okay? God is not with this man stealing your pay, man. That's wicked. And I've proven it in the Bible, man. And somebody's going to be simple and try to bring up in Matthew, well, it says, we'll render unto Caesar that which is Caesar's. Now, if you actually read that for the context of what it was referring to, somebody asked a question and said, is it okay if I give the so-called rulers my money? And the Lord said, well, let me see the money. And then he asked, well, who is this on this money? And then the guy said, Caesar. So yeah, the Lord said, yeah, if you want to do that, yeah, give to Caesar that which is Caesar's. He did not say, well, give everything to this man when he tells you. He didn't say that, man. Because you need money to survive. So, and you got to also remember this, man. Back then, the money that they took from you was nothing compared to what they're taking now, man. Okay? So if the Lord was here on earth right now seeing this wickedness, the Lord would be absolutely against this. Okay, so what these guys are doing is they're using accounts from back then when these governments actually abided by the Bible, and now they're twisting the scriptures and making it look like it's referring to this wicked ruler. It's not talking about that, man. You're just being simple-minded. There's no way you could read this and tell me that is talking about the wicked. You clearly see this says this is the minister of God, a rewarder of the righteous, a condemner of the wicked. There is no way you can tell me that's talking about the wicked. You are an absolute hypocrite. In fact, I would personally argue somebody who makes such a foolish accusation should be killed. Okay? Matter of fact, just to prove that real quick. All right, I'll say it again. Somebody who makes such a foolish accusation should be put to death. Okay? Revelation chapter 22, verse 18. For I testify unto any man that hears the words of the prophecy of this book. If any man shall add unto these things, Yahweh shall add unto him the plagues that are written in this book. And if any man should take away from the words of the book of this prophecy, Yahweh should take away his part out of the book of life and out of the holy city and from the things which are written in this book. Right, so we clearly see that if you say that Romans 13 is talking about obeying the wicked, then you're totally going off, man. All right, that I would even argue, according to the scriptures, that could be a sin unto death. Okay, as you're leading many people astray, man. Okay, you're leading many people astray. All right. Let's see. I got a letter precept lined up. Ephesians. Bear with me just a second. Oh, there it is. All right, Ephesians chapter 6 and chapter 6 and verse 5. All right. Says, servants, be obedient to them that are your masters according to the flesh, with fear and trembling, and singleness of your heart, as unto Christ. Right. So, how do you respond to that? How do I respond to that? It's very simple. Now, if you go back in ancient Israel, right, when you read in the scriptures about slaves, right, the slaves and the masters, it was basically a love-like relationship. And the reason I'm going to say that is because when you read in the law, it mentions that, I believe it's actually under the verse that speaks about abortion. Don't quote me on that because it could be wrong. But if I'm not mistaken, it's under that. It says that if a man, hurts his slave, that he is allowed to tell them to go free. Okay? Now, today, in modern Babylon, you have something called a butler or a maid, okay? And what is a butler or a maid? Basically somebody you hire to do the work that you don't want to do, okay? Whether it might be to do your laundry for you, to clean up your house, to do your dishes for you, whatever it might be, okay? That's what a butler and a maid is there to do, okay? To basically take care of your house, and you just give them money. Now, back in ancient Israel, it calls them, master, which of course is the man who hired the servant, okay? Now, in Israel, some guys teach, they beat their slaves. That's not necessarily true, though, because, again, if that was the case, then why does the scriptures have a law that if a man beats a slave, then he is to allow him to go free? That wouldn't make logical sense, okay? So the way it would be handled is very simple, okay? That somebody would agree to be hired, okay, to be a slave to another human being, but in return for that slavery, they're going to be fed, they're going to be paid, and taken care of. Okay, back in Israel, you had a lot of men who did have many servants. And guess what? They fed their servants. Their servants were members of the family. Okay? Like for example, you ever see, some of these TV shows, man, where they have, these very wealthy men, where they actually have maybe four servants living under their roof. All right, and that's has always been normal, man. Where you would have somebody who would, uh, you might offer okay, well, if you work for me, I'll let you live with me. You can sleep up in my attic. You can have food from the refrigerator, but I'll just pay you half of what I would pay everyone else. And they'll say, okay, I agree to that. That's basically what it was in Israel. For example, another thing as well, a boy, right, when he became a man at 12 or 13, what he might do is he might, then usually what would happen is they would then go and start working for another wealthier older man. All right, for example, you might have a 13-year-old get hired under you, and what he might do, usually what would happen is he would live in your house, man. All right, he would be a servant under you. You would give him wages, okay, and you would take care of him as a servant. You would not hurt him, okay, because if you do that, that's in violation of the scriptures. All right, because he's just your servant. You pay him, you take care of him, and he just does your dirty work for you. Okay. So that's basically back in ancient Israel. That's how slavery was, man. Okay, it's basically a job, and those servants were basically members of the family. Okay, they were taken care of as members of the family, man. Okay. So that's how you answer that question, man. Okay, when you see the scriptures say, "Servants, be obedient to your masters," that's talking about a servant who is for example, I gotta be obedient to my boss, man. You gotta be obedient to your boss, because if not, what's gonna happen? You're gonna get fired, man, and then you're out looking for another job, man, another slave master to work under, man. Okay, so guess what? Your boss is the higher power. All right, the bosses at our work, they are the higher power over us, man. Okay. So, that pretty much, for the most part, is the whole lesson I wanted to get into. Okay, Romans 13 is not talking about obeying the wicked. It's talking about the spiritual leaders, your boss, and the pastors. Okay? That is what Romans 13 is talking about. That's not talking about obeying the wicked. Anybody who's teaching that is a fool. They are not on a level with the scriptures. GMS are clowns on this topic, man. All right, you guys are simple-minded. You just, you don't know as much as you say you know, man. All right? And Gabar, hey, brother, look, as I said, I'm a young man compared to you, man. Okay, I'm a young man. But however, I will say this, though. The scriptures tell you, Job, the 32nd chapter. Great men are not always wise, neither do the aged understand judgment. Right, so, you're just not always wise, man. All right, you're a great man, but you're not always wise. Okay. And another thing as well, it doesn't matter how old I am, man. I've, spiritually, I've been in this truth for 6 years. I believe you've been in this for over 20-something years. But guess what, though? I can still confound you in the scriptures because I might have studied something that you have not studied for a while. Okay, which I will humbly say I have basically given you a spiritual ass beating here, man. All right, and I will humbly say that, though, because I could be going off. But going according to the Holy Scriptures I have shown, we clearly see what I'm saying, my argument clearly reigns superior to these clowns, man. Okay? So if you disagree, then you make a video and you prove me wrong. If you don't want to do that, then I don't know what to tell you. Okay? You guys are clearly taken away from the Scriptures. You're in violation of Revelation 22, verse 28, verse 18, verse 19, Slovakia. Okay? So you guys are in pure violation of the scriptures. Okay? So, that was basically just a lesson there. I hope that was an edifying video. Go ahead and send this to the apostles of GMS for me. I hope they get this message, all right? Because, you guys need to change your doctrine, man. In fact, if I'm not mistaken, I've heard lately that the Har is now saying that the Confusion of Faith Israelites are talking about basically shamefaced. Don't quote me on that. I could be wrong. All right, I could be wrong on that. Somebody might have just been going off with when they said that, but it was a GMS member who said that. Okay, and they're only saying that because the Har said it. That's the only reason why. They're not saying it because the Bible says it. All right, the breakdown I've seen and I've learned and teach, because I've seen it in the scriptures, is confusion of face is talking about Israelites who look like other nations. That's what confusion of face is talking about. But all of a sudden now they're changing their doctrine. And again, don't quote me on that because I could be wrong. All right, but that might be what they're teaching now. Okay, so yeah, that was just our the video I wanted to do for Joachim. So I hope that was an edifying video. Again, send this to GMS members to get this message out there. With that being said, I want to say shalom.